I apologize, but part of that plan also talks for relocation of the transfer facility, which would also be an opportunity to consider relocation of the south shed from right adjacent to the river there and off those grounds. Do you want me to contemplate any of that, or is that really, again, more the, let's come back with a bigger study kind of?
I hope we do, because we have a new board.
I read the plan, and we had two studies actually done for the DPW facilities within a couple of years of each other. And they both recommend, or at least in my memory, I know one definitely does, removing this transfer station and you're saying salt shed, but reading it, it was so environmentally severe of what's going on with that transfer station that I am 100% for moving it off the site. There's not enough room for it. It's leaking oil into our river. I mean, it's just not, it's really bad. And so if there's a will to move it, I'm all for it. That's my stance.
So for the purposes of hopefully giving some direction, I would say it sounds like we want more, we want to revisit the study so that the whole board has the opportunity. It's a big, judgment call, a kind of value judgment, or decision, not judgment, decision. Maybe placeholder then in 2022, 2023, because based on that discussion in the next year, 6 months, we might have more of a sense of where the board is.
Sure. And I would just recommend to also, it is on the web. So if you have time, I think it's like it's not that short. It's really short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd also just like to add, I mean, we had bonded for replacement of that salt shed once before. The biggest impediment to that was it was closed south and had no place no way to build it. The costs were a bit higher, but the biggest thing is they couldn't deal with replacing the south shed when you have it closed south in the spring. So that's one of the primary reasons I say, we will look into that and get it into the mix and more information to the board.
Is that acceptable to put the placeholder there?
I think that's great, because I think in the first,
It keeps it alive.
if with the agreement of like the group, I think, the first 6 months of the 2019 year, I'd love to look at what our operations are, where we think our operations will be, to your point, in the long run. And then look at the facility and say,
And that might change the scope.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm super excited to do that with you guys. And
We're in the
that's
position to do it.
Okay, moving on to police garage and police public facilities. Just clarification, because I know everyone got the question and the answer. I read that we bonded $5 million, and you confirmed that we bonded prior, I think it was 2017, $5 million for the police station. What did we utilize those funds on?
Site acquisition and payment.
So, Mike,
That was in the memo.
I know, what was site acquisition though? Was it 2.5 or 3.5?
Two something.
Right, so I added up the numbers, it didn't come to 5.
So you're wondering if there's
Yeah,
money there that we
I
can
am.
use?
There is
Yes.
not.
Okay.
Where-
I can give you a detail of how those funds boiled out if you'd like.
That would be
That's a
great.
summary memo, as a follow-up.
That's the point of the question. Because if it was 2.5 and then it was $1 million, if you look at the contract for the phase 1, and then phase 2B was 886. What else did we spend?
Right, so if we know that, then that might lead to an answer. So
That money is all been spent, and I can give you a summary in addition to all the memos that the police chief has provided on this topic, but
I'm
just
just
concise on the numbers, I won't get into any of the language,
could we,
but that money is, I can tell you 100% expended, or no residual funds.
in the absence of that, do we want to weigh in on where the board is on this item?
I don't want to until I know how we spent money that we didn't authorize. But,
That's a completely separate
Yeah,
issue though.
that's somewhere we.
well, for me, it's.
No, if there's money
Sorry.
that can be spent, but that's my point. In absence of that today, can we just get sort of a ranking of where, if we had money or if we didn't have money, how does the board feel about prioritizing?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of leaving this hanging, I mean, we have this unimproved, we bought this building, it was way too big for what we needed, but it was the best decision at the time, given the situation with that building. The garage, I mean, when we last talked about the garage, my feeling was come back, instead of $1 million for a garage, come back with a proposal for $500,000 or $250,000. And let's see what kind of garage you can get for that, if at all. And if you can't, then I need to understand in a really clear way why we would need to pay $1 million for a police garage. I mean, my just general feeling about this project is, you know, it kind of fell in the crack with Chris leaving and, you know, and Rebecca coming, and it could have been managed better. We really didn't have someone on there looking out for us as the owner's interests in terms of the costs and the improvements, and things got added in and, you know, but anyway, that's the past. But I remember saying to the chief when this came, like, I'm fine with the Chevy, but I don't want to pay for a Mercedes police station.
So would you want to put it in a year? I mean, you still want the project, is what you're saying, you just don't know the amount.
I mean, I think we should put something in there. I mean,
So that's
it's not inconceivable to me that he could come in
I
and
understand.
have a really good argument for why he needs $1 million for that garage. It's not inconceivable. And it's not inconceivable that we'll end up doing it at $1 million. But I mean, I would say put it in for like $350 or something, $400 maybe. And then,
Which year?
as soon as possible. I mean, it's an asset that's not being used because we haven't improved it, and it's just sitting there empty, and it's ridiculous. Okay, and I want to say on the public space, the fire station decision now and issues is what the health department wants to do, and I mean, we never did space planning. We never did what departments need space, where could they potentially go.
So wait on it.
The other option I think you brought up, and I didn't really understand your comment about leasing space, and
That was it.
Mark assumed this building,
No.
I assumed.
Me too.
So I mean, that actually is not a bad idea, and we would get some income, and in that case, you know, I guess we would still need to build out as the owner for tenant improvements, however, we would be looking at an income stream coming in. So.
And when that happens, we're taking the bathroom back.
In any case, no, we're gonna have to build a new bathroom, even though there was a bathroom there. I mean, again, that's an example of something that got absorbed into the police side of this project without anybody really watching the store on that one, because that's water under the bridge. But, you know, I'm not comfortable saying we don't need a second public meeting room other than Village Center until we've looked at it from a space planning perspective. I mean, the schools were talking about wanting space for receptions and activities and stuff like that, and what they were talking about building outside of the arts building.
So either way,
let me finish, please. So, I mean, I think we need to have some conversations. You know, is that a community need or not? And do we want to fund it, or do we? But we can't answer that question until we've done a little bit of space planning.
But either
Thank you.
way, I think I just wanted, so to answer the question, would you include it in this long-range plan? Either way, whether it was for community room or leasing, it sounds like you were in favor of putting it into the long-range plan within the next 10 years. Sorry to interrupt, that's what I was trying to get at. Like, should we put it in?
I don't, you know, at this point, no, because we just don't know what we're even talking about. I mean, the garage, we know we're gonna use it as garage, we know we need to do something. The public space to me is still an open question mark. The other things that are not on this list are if we end up having to fund improvements to that building, the fire station. And secondly, we've talked about a permanent snow storage solution, and I'd like to see $100,000 in here somewhere for improvements at a park or wherever we're gonna, a parking lot or wherever we're gonna
It
work
could
with
be
that.
the parking utility, which isn't in here.
I don't see it as a valid use of parking utility funds to build a snow storage solution.
I'm just saying if it's permanent pavers in a park, if it ends up being that, it would, according to Mark, it would come out of the parking utility.
Is that a valid use of parking utility?
You're redoing your parking lot.
Whatever. I mean, if it's, it should still be in here even if it's funded through a utility So I'd just like to see 100,000 or 150,000 for some kind of snow storage, like in 2020, 2022.
Trustee Carpenter.
So for the police garage, I really do think that there needs to be some placeholder. I mean, I do think $1 million for the garage is pretty, it is almost excessive, but I do think that it's also a smarter financial decision long-term just to protect all of the other assets. And it is open space that's just not being used. I do have some question about how those public facilities would be used. And so I think for me, what makes the most sense is that we do have that placeholder in the next, couple of years for the garage and hold on the public.
At the lower, like.
Yes,
trustee Smith
yes,
said.
at
So,
a
yeah, I
lower
support
cost.
putting the placeholder in more like 500 or 400,000.
Yeah, I think $500,000 seems reasonable to me. And then holding on that public space, just especially with that big question mark next door and potentially having some space there as well. And we don't know what we need,
Exactly.
so.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Warren, and then Trustee Maher, and then I'll make my comment. Trustee Warren.
Yeah, because we're running tight on time, I'm not going to belabor any points, but I agree with what's been said. I think we should put in that lower value placeholder for the police station.
For next year, or for like the next column?
Yeah, right, I think that's something that has to be,
Right.
that has to be done soon, and hold off on the public facility pending study of our space usage throughout the village.
And we have talked to Trustee
Trustee
Zovig did
Yeah.
start
And then
looking at
trustee-
space.
Sorry about that. But
President
the garage, I agree we should put it in there because that was a major component of the original project. I'm a little uncomfortable. We have engineering estimates and stuff, and it's a very complex space, with a lot of ventilation needs. So if we do put a lower amount, maybe footnote that the engineering study said $1 million. So we don't come, why is it $1 million? Well, we just dropped it. So we maybe staff can look at that in the next, revisit those reports and see what is
Do we have these
feasible
reports?
at $500,000. If it is,
We do?
then that's great.
Do we?
I agree waiting on the community space, because we do have the whole fire station thing, and there's a lot up in the air. And overall, in general, I like the idea of having, maybe not on this list, but an addendum that has all the projects. We know a lot about these projects, as much, DPW, so we don't lose that information. We do have a master list of these projects that aren't on the list.
With these descriptions.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah, with the
helpful,
descriptions,
just so the
yeah.
public has that.
Yes.
So, I'll make my comments on the project, and then Mark, you can chime in. After reading the facilities plan for DPW, we have a lot of investment in all of our vehicles and fleets. And at this moment, it was talked about how we stack them, we store stuff all winter outside. I mean, we have the same need for the DPW fleet as we do for our police fleet, if not more. And so my concern is addressing one and not the other, or what is more dire in terms of cost return for us. So I just want to bring that up. I'm not opposed to finishing off the project, but if storing, 10 police cars or however many we have outside is less cost impact to us as storing all of our certain vehicles for DPW outside, I just want to know what that is. So maybe, I don't know how you put it into the long-range plan if we're only, putting in priorities, that's the new way to do it. But I would like that information before. I just want to know.
With our DPW facility discussion, I think that would be a logical place to have.
Sure, if we're talking about outdoor storage of fleet. Mhm.
Thank you. Just interesting concept because although it says police facility garage to garage, you can decide how you want to use it, once it's built. So that's an interesting take on that. You will also see coming up in the budget, a placeholder amount for a capital request from the police chief to do additional design and engineering on completing that facility before committing to the actual final cost of that. So while I'm happy to use a placeholder value that seems to be more tolerable as far as what that project could be. You will be getting additional information if you proceed with some of those plans as well as part of the annual budget.
And will it be enough time for Leanne to address, or for someone to address my question of our fleet in general and what makes sense for a garage? What makes most fiscally prudent sense for a garage space? Meaning what?
What are our options for
Yes.
garaging? Yeah, I think we can get to that in a reasonable amount of time, not necessarily within the next few weeks, but at some point, yeah. I don't know what
Yeah, I
your
would
time
think that
needs
it
to
would
be.
need to happen outside of our budget discussion next week.
He said there was something in the budget, so I wanted to.
Oh, that's for the police department.
For the police department garage design,
To try to get to a lower number, it's the
Correct.
value engineering. So I think we,
and you'll see that Monday.
Okay.
All right.
If it houses them in a if there was a reason that one of the DPW, if it was a multi-garage, then it would be different than cost engineering.